How many times has your woman said she's completely over something and it's in the past and it doesn't matter anymore and she trusts you, et cetera, only to 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years later, in the middle of an animated discussion, she brings it up. All right, so today's video that I'm going to be reviewing is from a lady named Anna Jorgensen. She runs a life coaching, dating, relationship coaching channel by the name of Your Wingman. And I've been watching her for a little while. Probably found her about a year ago, and she's good at what she does. She's got a very unique, quirky style. I like it for the most part. Sometimes it can border on the corny stuff, but we can forgive her for that because the information that she generally puts out on her channel is pretty much top notch. And she's kind of like I am in my hockey videos. In my hockey videos, I'm cringe on purpose. It's a shtick, right? The same thing with her corniness. She's doing it on purpose. So the video here that she put out, the title of the video, I'm going to have a link to the video in the description like I always do. Something to the effect of never apologize to a woman. And of course, that got me going, ooh, this is a subject that all men can have. We've all lived and breathed, right? And I was just kind of curious, okay, under what circumstances is she saying we should not say I'm sorry? So those are the words that she is trying to stop men from saying, because as you're going to see her say, she feels that when you say I'm sorry to a woman, that makes her look at you as that you are weak. So I'm going to play a couple clips here, and then we're going to talk about it. I'm like I normally am when I watch these videos. I see the points that she's making, and I have a little bit of a disagreement, but not too bad. But some of the examples that she brings up make me wonder what kind of men you women are dating. Ouch.
Don't ever say sorry to a woman. You're going to use these magical words instead. Now, I know what you're asking, but Anna, what if I really did screw up? Like I did a big doozy and I should say sorry. You're going to use some different words. Otherwise, you're going to look weak. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in any of these situations? Let's say you cancel a date with your girl to go out with the boys, end up flirting with Ashley, and then get caught on social media by your girl. Uh-oh. Or how about this one? Maybe you did a little more than flirt with Ashley. What if you spent your whole savings on the next hot NFT and now you're broke and can't pay your share of the rent or a mortgage or your own rent? Now listen, guys, I'm not saying there aren't times when you do need to man up for what you've done, because if you really did mess up and you broke her trust or disrespected her or the relationship, then yes, an apology is needed.
All right, so let's start here, guys. If you are in whatever stage of a relationship with a woman and you cancel a date to go out with Ashley and you end up flirting or having sex with Ashley, you don't need to apologize to her because you're not ready for a relationship. This is when she listed out some of the doozies, as she put it. You spent all your money on an NFT and now you can't pay your rent. How low is the bar being set? That's a genuine question. Like, oh, well, I canceled the date. I went out with this girl. We flirted, we danced, and it ended up on social media. And now I'm busted. What is that? How low the bar actually is? What are you guys doing out there? Now, of course, that's easy for me to say because in my day, if you did something like that, you were only going to get caught if the girl that you jilted ended up at the club at the same time. That actually happened to me, by the way. Real quick story. I was dating a girl and then we broke up and we were going to do the we're seeing other people. We're still together, but we're not together type of thing. And so it was a Friday night and I did not have a date with her. I had a date with her on Saturday night. So on Friday night, I went to the club and I had my fun and I got a call Saturday morning. She was like, I saw you at the club last night. I see what you're going to do. In that instance, which I don't recommend taking this tactic, guys, but in that instance, her attitude changed, and I ended up with her Saturday night, and things went well. We'll leave it at that. But normally nowadays, you can't do anything like that without getting caught online. And no, the point was I was 22 when that happened. 21. Yeah, I wasn't 22. I was 21. I wasn't ready for a relationship. It was just it was an obvious situation where I was not ready for a relationship. Now, what Anna's going to get into here is she's got the magical words that you're going to say to a woman, even when you've done a doozy. Now, again, some of these things that she's brought up, guys, just don't even bother apologizing.
What are the magical words, Anna? Just get to the words. Okay, but the preamble was really important, and you might even want to watch it again. The magical words are, babe, I messed up. You deserve to be treated better than that.
Okay. Babe, I messed up. You deserve to be treated better than that. Now, this is one of those situations where that sounds decent, right? That sounds like, okay, I could buy that. But I'm going to tell you another little story. And what this story will illustrate is that, genuinely speaking, what you should say to your partner, your girlfriend, whoever, when you've screwed up, honestly, is just going to depend on how well you already know that woman. When I was in marriage counseling and we had a female counselor, and what she would do is she would see my ex and then me, and then the next appointment would be together. And in one of the appointments where it was just me, I don't remember the specifics of what I was complaining about, but basically I was saying that she's always telling me she's unhappy about this, or she doesn't like this, and she doesn't, whatever it was that she was unhappy about. Not generally speaking mistakes I've made, but life circumstances that were hers. And now this was a licensed psychotherapist, female, like I said. And what she told me to say to my wife was, I fail to see where that's my problem. Now, I would never, ever, ever, all the evers. I don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many evers. I would never, ever, ever make a YouTube video where I was suggesting to men that go home and the next time your wife complains about something, to say, I fail to see where that's my problem, because it's going to become your problem really, really quick. The point there is that while Anna is not, in a sense, wrong, what we are going to learn as we have a relationship is that there are no magical words.
Babe, I messed up. You deserve to be treated better than that. Now notice the tone. You're not defensive. You're owning it. You're not begging or pleading. You're owning it, but you're also delivering the apology. What else did we note? We did not say the words, I'm sorry. Key point. Expect that she may still be upset. These are just words after all, which is why you're going to add these words or something like it. I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again by doing such and such. Now, such and such is whatever you know you need to do to overcome that area of weakness. Key point, she may still be upset. And that's normal. Again, these are just words. It's going to take some time for her to trust, especially if what you've done is really bad. Okay, what if she's crying or freaking out? If she's far too triggered to have an emotionally mature, rational discussion in this red hot minute, then you need to table it and talk about it later. Yeah. Key point. If you've delivered these types of phrases, these magical words of apology, you've maintained your cool, you haven't cowered like a child, you've been respectful, even if internally you're frustrated. I get you, you're frustrated. Women are frustrating. Sorry, ladies. We are. And you haven't done anything extremely egregious and she's still freaking out? Siren. That's a red flag. That's a warning sign. Either she's damaged goods, or your values don't match, or you've let her treat you poorly for far too long.
And that she's right about. That she's absolutely right about. See, for men, we're thinking the magical words are, what can I say right now in this moment that will diffuse this situation? And what Anna is saying is correct. You can say whatever you want. You can say all the magical words, and there can be unicorns and rainbows and lollipops dropping from the sky and out of your mouth. And if she's mad, she's going to stay mad. End of discussion. Throw the roses away. That's it. It's over. She's going to be mad. Now, in the case that if you have had sex with Ashley, all right, you canceled the date and you've had sex with Ashley. It's a subject for another video, but what I will say here is that although I'm sure there will be that one person in the comments that say they worked through it, generally speaking, especially men, if you have been unfaithful to your female partner, generally speaking, she may come back around at some point, but it's only going to be 99.5%. And she's going to keep that 5% of herself protected because you cheated on her. You know what I mean? And that's going to come out at various times during various discussions, or whether it's a fight that you're having, or it will always be in the back of your mind should you be discussing something further down the line and, in the relationship having to do with maybe she wants to buy this house, you want to buy this house, you guys want to move somewhere. Important decisions will end up being skewed in her favor because all the way back in the back of her mind, if I push this too far, she's going to bring up that I cheated. And that's not something that's really solvable. It can happen on the surface. It can happen on the surface. But guys, ask yourself this question. This is important. How many times has your woman said she's completely over something and it's in the past and it doesn't matter anymore and she trusts you, et cetera, only to 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years later, in the middle of an animated discussion, she brings it up. And at that point, guys, I know that feeling, okay? Because you don't know whether you're going to throw up or you're going to have a heart attack because you did the thing, but you've been being told for 5-10 years that it was in the past, it didn't matter. So you've been operating from that POV, and now you're finding out it's not. So to summarize, basically what she is saying is to try to not grovel and say, I'm sorry. And that I can agree with, especially if you haven't done any of the horrendous things that she listed out here. Like I said, I mean, if you lived together and you spent all your money on an NFT and now she's got to pay the rent, I'm sorry ain't going to cut it. Okay. Don't even waste your time with I'm sorry. Okay. Especially, it depends on how much money it is. I mean, if you drop $3,000 on an NFT and now you don't have the rent, my suggestion is finding the $3,000 from whoever you can before you have to go, baby, I'm messed up. Okay. Cause then you messed up. But if it is a circumstance in the general arguments section, we'll put that where we already know how this goes, guys, right? You say something, she misinterprets it. She takes her misinterpretation as truth. She doesn't never tell you, right? And then like 3 weeks later, when you're in a discussion, he says, well, you don't like da. And you're like, what, huh? And you come to find out that she's been harboring this thing for 3 weeks that you had no idea she interpreted it that way. And it was a misinterpretation. And now she's been pissed at you for 3 weeks. And sometimes you will meet a woman that wants you to acknowledge her feelings and validate her feelings. And then a man will say, well, I'm sorry. But what are you supposed to do? See, like for me, it's like if I say, I'm sorry you feel that way, I wouldn't want somebody saying that to me because it sounds like they're being condescending. I've had women tell me that what they want to hear from me is, I'm sorry that you feel that way. But it varies from woman to woman. And that's the final point, is that a video like this one, like what Anna did, it is good general instructions. But in terms of there being magical words, if there are any magical words, it's going to be case-based scenario. I know my girlfriend's magical words. You know your wife's magical words, etc., etc. And they will change from day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour, year to year. Okay, what you can say to her to get her to come around on Tuesday, you could say it again Wednesday, and she's mad at you. All right, there's no consistency. But I do agree with her point that you should at least try. And why you should try is that by trying to find ways to express your regret in a different way, you will avoid just constantly saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, because you were constantly trying to express that in a different way. So, in that sense, I agree. But in terms of there being magical words, not in a general sense. Women are going to, as she had said in this video, they're going to remain upset until they've chosen to not be upset with you anymore. And generally speaking, quiet. Just shut up. Just shut up. When you've done something, if you've really done something, um, the best course for action is, can we talk about this later when you're not upset? I wouldn't even say I'm sorry. I wouldn't say I regret it. I wouldn't say, babe, you deserve to be treated better than that. Because that could trigger her to go, yeah, I deserve to be treated better than that. What about Chad at the gym? He probably treat me better. You see what I'm saying? I don't like that verbiage anyway. And there's some women that might work with and some they won't. Bottom line is, guys, if you screwed up royally, you might have just screwed up. Sometimes mistakes, you're not going to come back around. I don't think you're going to come back around from sleeping with Jessica. That it might appear that way in the surface, but not likely. If it's a situation where you really didn't do anything and she's mad, best thing you can do is turn around, walk away, and go outside, go home, go back to your room, go watch the game. Silence, don't say anything, let her calm down. And in my experience, at least 70% of the time that will work in terms of her coming back to you. She's not going to apologize. She's not going to say she's sorry. She might come back later. If you have an argument and you walk away, you don't want to deal with it, and you go downstairs and you're watching the game, she might come back 2 hours later and just walk up behind the couch and kiss you on the head and walk away. That's your apology, guys. Don't wait for the words. You've been waiting a long time. You get old and gray like me, waiting for those 2 words. It ain't going to happen most of the time. Silence might trigger her. Okay, I've been told I'm making things worse because I'm being too calm, and I'm sure that as a man you probably have too. Silence is better than saying, I'm sorry. I agree with Anna there. Those 2 words, watch those, because once you give them, it's like an ATM card, right? Once you apologize for this, you'll be saying you're sorry all day, every day. So yeah, on that part, we agree.